What's up, dudes and dudettes of the year, and my name's Scythe, and today we're going to be starting a short, quick series of Human Fall Flat. This game's actually a lot of fun. I've been having an absolute blast with it. Played through it already like 3 or 4 times off camera, so hoping that I'm not going to run into any issues with the series because it's a puzzle game, and it's a physics-based puzzle game, and I just been having an absolute blast with it. First, I was just going to do like a first look video, just kind of give first impressions of it, but honestly, like, I love this game, seriously, and for the price that it is, it can't be beat, because the first time playing took me about 2.5, maybe 3 hours to actually beat, which is pretty good for a game that's under $20, not to mention the amount of replayability because there's multiple paths and stuff like that. Either way, I would very much appreciate everybody if you would use your pinky and click the like button for me very much. It helps me out more than you know. And we're gonna, well, I guess we'll start a new game. No, we don't want to get rid of all of our progress. We'll just start on the first level and screw it. And I don't even need to edit out loading screens because you just fall right in. And I got a customized character. Not that we'll be able to see his face very often, but you can actually, once you play through the game the first time, you unlock the ability to use the webcam on any part of your character's body. So I ended up, like, he has my face, but we'll never be able to see it. And left and right click is to pick up stuff with your left and right hand, very similar to Gang Beasts. If you all know that game was a multiplayer game that's just a physics-based multiplayer game. It's a lot of fun. Get out of here. I don't care about that video. But it's like that, but a puzzle game, you know? Left click for your left hand, right click for your right hand. Of course, you can just use... Who needs stairs? Stairs are for suckers. You can end up using a controller, but personally, I wouldn't really recommend it because it's definitely a lot harder. Oh yeah, stairs are for suckers. Oh well. It's a lot harder, at least for myself personally. Like, I was playing this game, within the first few minutes that I was playing this game, suddenly it was like, no, I don't want to use a controller. I would rather just be using a mouse and keyboard. And the amount of freedom that this game actually offers you is amazing because you can actually jump from over there down to here and actually skip through the level and skip through a lot of parts of different levels, and you actually get achievements for most of them. You get an achievement for doing that jump, you get an achievement for standing on top of this guy's head right here, which you just climb up this railing and jump on top. There you go, bada bing, bada boom. And even climbing is actually really, really cool. We'll end up doing that in some of the later levels, not so much. Oops, we gotta hold both of these. We're not gonna be doing so much climbing as we're going to do in some of the later levels because these first levels are very, very quick, very, very easy, very simple, you know? Get up, dude. Jeez. See, here's the thing that I absolutely love about this game is the amount of freedom that it gives you. Like, we're supposed to move this garbage, go through the door, which we could do that, and we're probably going to. But you could also move all the debris. By the way, if you put a bunch of debris in the garbage, you're gonna get another achievement. You could move all the debris, go inside that door, and there's actually a maze that is pitch black. So if you end up taking that lantern, I love the fact that we can point, you can actually go into there and navigate your way around, which will end up sprouting you out there, which is where you need to be for later. Or if you're skilled enough at climbing, you can actually climb up the train into the area, because that's one thing that I love about the physics engine in this game is it's like every object actually has like a physical box around it. So it's not like this train right here is just a square that you interact with. You can actually, like, you can reach down here and grab the parts that are underneath it. You can end up, well, you can't really climb underneath it, but I'm just trying to make a point that the physics objects and stuff are actually very, very well done because of the art direction that the game ends up having. Like, very simplistic shapes means that you're gonna be dealing with some, like, a very simplistic physics and stuff like that, you know? Which is really, really cool. So right now, like, we're probably gonna be playing most of the game verbatim while I kind of just instruct you on different ways that you could go about completing the levels, because, you know, experimentation is key, and I want to let all of you experience that for yourselves if you end up deciding to get this game for yourselves, right? But like I said, I mean, I've been playing through this game, like, so much, and even I haven't experienced all the different pathways and stuff like that. I'm actually getting pretty good at climbing too. It involves a little bit of swinging. See, here's where the maze would have spat us out, is just out there. But that part I find to be a little bit tedious just because you gotta move like so much debris. Now, the first time playing through this game, you can actually, I ended up climbing right up there and getting to the exit. But like I said, we're gonna be playing this game kind of how it wants to be played, just so I can kind of show y'all, because the game's trying to instruct us on how we actually, like, you know, use the physics and stuff like that. Like even with these, you know, we're just moving these trains over so that we can end up climbing into the one in the middle, and it's just such a cool game, man. Like, I've been having such a blast with it. Granted, I will say, because it's a physics game, it means that not only is there a lot of room for experimentation and kind of cheating through levels and skipping sections and stuff like that, but it also means that there is a lot of opportunity to mess up, because your character, I don't know how many times you'll be trying to climb up something and he just climbs and falls off the ledge a little bit, like, way too fast, you know? Oh, I'm dead. Just kidding. He's alive. Do some push-ups, buddy. Yeah, that was the weirdest push-up I've ever seen. So now we're at the level, which I think this level is actually called Carry. I'm like an expert at this game, if I do say so. And that's the thing that I love about this game too. Like, you're just gonna be hearing me praising this game the entire time, by the way, everybody. But I love the fact that it's instructing us with the different playing mechanics in each of the level types, and it doesn't, like, one of the biggest things that I love about this game, because I find that to be a big issue with lots of games in general, let alone puzzle games, is that it doesn't really, like, these elevators that we're messing with, you never really see them again. Like, it doesn't just keep repeating the same puzzles over and over. By the way, there is an achievement as well. You can end up jamming the doors with all of these boxes, and then it's a little bit tedious, but you kind of gotta, like, jam the door with a box and then pull the other one through while it's being jammed. And yeah, needless to say, you gotta get all 4 of the boxes in this level into that room where you use the elevator to stack them all up, so that you can end up getting the achievable, because otherwise right now we're just trying to get this box up and over there so that we can end up getting into the next area. And oh man, like the other thing too that I love about this game is the fact that the areas are actually very varied. I know that sounds silly, but I mean it. Where, you know, right now we're kind of doing this stuff, it's just very basic, kind of dealing with train systems and everything like that. But then I think it's the next area, I could be mistaken about that, but you end up going into a castle area, and then there's an industrial area, and then in the end, like, kind of the later tiered areas start getting even more complicated with wiring and electricity and stuff like that. That's actually the last level, as well as dealing with certain vehicles, which we'll get into those a little bit later into the game. I guess I should also explain, while we're at it, how you actually climb, because I know I didn't really mention that. But the game kind of does teach you that as you're playing through it, so it doesn't really matter. But you end up sticking out your hands like a crazy person, and as you end up grabbing onto ledges, which we're not really going to deal with it right here, actually, until there's a little spot a little bit further on. But you end up grabbing a ledge, and you kind of got to have your hands like... you gotta have them like this, right? So you gotta have your hands like at least right at the edge, and then you just aim down, walk forward, and there you go. So it's just like, that's the thing too, is this game ends up having, like, even though he kind of looks a little bit derpy, he, like, animates so well, you know? Like, I love the physics engine that they've got running here. So there's actually, this is one of the biggest areas where there's multiple pathways, you know, because we could end up going all the way over there and climbing up a section on that end, but we're just gonna go for this one just because it's gonna save us a little bit on time. I may end up, like, we'll see what happens. If we go through this game quick enough, I may just do it in a single playthrough, because whatever, why not, you know? Because I'm surprised how much, like, how well we're doing on time. Oh boy. Well, you know what? While we're here, I can kind of show you. This is how you can actually get up to any location, is just by swinging like Spooderman. And it's very important to note that you're gonna actually need that in order to get some of the achievements, because some of the achievements actually require you, oh geez, to end up climbing up to some very difficult places to end up getting up to. Like, seriously, it's just insane. So right now, This is what happened the first time I went through. You could normally actually sneak along the edge there, and then you go into a cave, and there's a bunch of glowing blocks in there, and you're gonna want to actually gather all of the glowing blocks into one place, which is pretty easy to do so long as you don't end up going too far ahead and end up getting to the spot where it's GG, no return, right? I mean, technically, that's the thing, is you could end up, if you end up getting through the cave, you end up jumping back down here and repeating it all over again if you actually want. But yeah, you gotta gather all of those glowing blocks together. We're just gonna skip over this way just because it's quick and easy, and I'm really, really hoping... Oh, geez. I'm really hoping that I'm able to do this on camera because it's actually very, very tricky, especially with the physics. But here is another part that is an achievement, and it's actually a lot of fun while also being very, very tedious. I want to actually try and get right at the edge, not edge. That was end and edge at the same time. I wanted to try and do it here. Can we do it? No! Oh, man. And if you end up failing like I just did, you end up just teleporting right back to where you ended up failing. And unfortunately, that sucks. I knew it. I knew I wouldn't be able to get that on camera. I've done it every single time off camera, but I knew I wouldn't be able to do it on camera. I just knew it. But anyway, that's a nice little shortcut, because otherwise, you're gonna have to climb across all of these tedious rocks and stuff, and you know, you pretty much have to climb across this anyways, even if you go through the cave. I guess I should have also pointed out, but up there at the cave section, there's kind of like metal bars, and it's really, really cool and a lot of fun to mess with because it actually requires, in order for you to get out inside the cave, there's actually a stick that you end up using, and you use that for leverage to bend the bars in half and kind of like force your way out, which is really, really cool, man. Like, that's the thing. I love physics puzzles, and the fact that this one actually operates and plays like so well is just amazing. So normally we would end up climbing all the way around and climbing onto this train, but we're gonna cheat a little bit right here, just because I want to show you that this is possible. This is where the climbing comes into function, and also means that you could technically probably do some pretty nifty speed runs through this game as well. So we can actually... Yeah, there we go. Perfect. In some cases, I'll be a little bit cheaty, but we're not gonna bother with some sections just because, like that one, you know, you could already just see what we were supposed to do. And it's important to note as well, in this section, not only are they trying to introduce us with glass, yeah, but there is also an achievement that you get for throwing these speakers off of the cliff. So if we use physical force and smash that off, smash the glass, there you go, we throw that off. And you could mess around with all this other stuff, you know, we can end up breaking the TV. Oh, well, I'm not really strong enough, but you can end up breaking the TV and end up breaking the coffee table and stuff like that. Just kind of messing around, you know, with different physics and stuff. There also is, a button that you can end up pressing. Default key is T. Don't know about the controller so much. His hand sometimes gets stuck behind his neck like that, which is tedious. But you can end up actually, yeah, take that, stupid glass. Ragdolling yourself and kind of tripping up like that, which, yeah. Then this section, oh man, don't get me started on how tedious this section can potentially be. Because this is where they start introducing different mechanics, and we can actually, this thing kind of rocks back and forth, which right now they actually want us to just do what we're gonna do right here. Bang! Through the wall. But as you get this thing rocking back and forth, technically, that glass over there, you have to get that thing to swivel back and forth at the perfect timing that it smashes through the glass without just banging into the wall and losing all its momentum. And then you gotta climb into that thing, go through the window, and then you kind of skip through most of the level while also getting a certain achievement. There's also another achievement where it's called like primal, and you kind of force yourself through these walls with just using, like, not using any of the mechanisms and any of the machines and stuff like that. But we're not gonna do that because, yeah, that's a bit tedious. And then if you climb all the way up there, there's a garbage can up there again. If you manage to get lucky enough to actually open it up, you can ride it down to the bottom, and there's actually an achievement as well for riding for a set amount of time in a garbage can, which it's kind of like, that's the thing that's nice about this game and its achievables, is you don't need to do it all in one run. You know, like, it's like you can kind of just, are we even gaining enough momentum here? Nope. You kind of just, like, you don't have to do it all in one run. It's kind of like you can kind of just take your time with it. And, you know, all of the time that you're riding in a garbage can, for example, is going to be adding up, as well as, like, there's achievements for jumping a million zillion times. Oh, my goodness. Dying like 100 times and stuff. And the thing that I love about the physics engine in this game, too, it's using the Unity physics as far as I know. I could be dead wrong about that. But even when you're using this wrecking ball here, depending where you hit the wall, it's actually going to crumble differently every time. It's not like some preset thing where it's always gonna end up crumbling the same way. And those little touches like that just make this game, like, so fun for me, because, like I said, like, I legit, like, I kind of grew up, like, even as a kid, like, I've always loved physics games like this. That's one of the reasons that I really loved Half-Life, is because, you know, you end up messing with a lot of physics and stuff like that. So they also have, in instances like this, it's very, very nice that these things, the levers will end up kind of just detaching, and you don't need to bother, like, it's like, they specifically have levers detach in the locations where it's kind of like you're just opening a door that's supposed to stay open, rather than something that could potentially go wrong for you, you know? Which is really, really cool. They also have a weight system, so you can see, even with all the glass on that box, I love pointing, even with all the glass in that box, or glass on the switch is what I meant to say, we needed to actually use the box in order to actually be strong enough to do it, right? And then, very basic puzzle right here, and again, I cannot stress enough, the fact that it doesn't repeat these puzzles like 50 zillion times over. This is actually the only instance where you have to end up doing something like that. And also, this is the only other instance where you end up kind of moving a bunch of stuff out of the way so that the platform can come down. Now, this part, there's a couple parts in this game that are definitely tedious. You know, some of these parts in this game are actually really, really difficult and potentially could end up going wrong. So I'm really hoping that I can end up going through them swimmingly. Come on, dude, climb up. There you go. So this is one of the parts that can end up being very tedious. You can, of course, actually get this thing to rock back and forth, swing physics style, get it up here, jump over there, and then if you can smash through that glass, you can get onto the platform, but otherwise you can just climb up the stairs and kind of cheat your way through the section, right? And that's the thing that I love about this game too, is most of these different paths are actually rewarded with achievements and stuff like that, meaning that the game actually wants you to experiment with the different pathways and stuff like that. Now, the reason that this part, whoopsie daisy, the reason that this part can end up being a little bit difficult and a bit cheesy is because we could actually have the box fall off the ledge, and then we would have to, like, the box is just going to respawn back at the same spot that we just found it 2 seconds ago. But the fact that it would end up respawning is a little bit tedious, because then we would have to go through everything that we just went through right now. So if that ends up happening in this series at any point, of course, I'm just going to edit it out, just because I don't want to put you all through that tedious stuff. Oh my goodness gracious. Now, this part is a little bit tricky, because when we end up going up there, we kind of open the doorway, open the splash doors, and I guess we'll do that right now just because I said we'd do it the vanilla way. But if we ended up breaking the glass that I mentioned earlier with the swinging mechanic of the giant crane thing, right? You end up actually coming out of this side of the building, and then you can climb up top and get onto this scaffolding. And then, while normally the game wants you to just kind of go over there and just go through the main parts of the map, if you're careful, you can actually climb onto this pipe and take it all the way up to the final puzzle of the level, which is so cool, isn't it? But otherwise, they want us to use these boulders I think too, I haven't tried it, but I'm pretty sure you could actually jump onto that hook right there, and you could probably actually use that to swing yourself around the wall, which would be really cool, wouldn't it? Okay, let's just use physical force. All right, let's just do it again. Yeah! I'm the strongest man alive. Oh man, it's such a cool game though, isn't it? Like, I absolutely love it. It's just, I've been having such a good time with it. Such a good time. Come on, you stupid thing. Oh, jeez. I guess I should work out a little bit more. Ugh. Are we supposed to just push it then, or are we supposed to just grab it from this end and he's just not using enough strength? There we go. Whoa. We almost beat ourselves up. Smash the wall. So I guess that's where, I don't have that achievement, but I'm guessing that's where we would normally have to use the boulder here, because that might actually count as a machine to actually break the wall, you know? Like, we would have to use the boulders instead. And that's the thing, too, is right now, like, the game is trying to kind of show us, like, we have to smash through that glass. And we could... Well, I guess we're supposed to do it that way. All right, whatever. But you could have, like, if we ended up using our special climbing techniques, like you ended up seeing okay, rip me. We didn't even need to use that boulder. Oh, jeez. But we could have used our special climbing techniques to get up to that spot that we were just at like 2 seconds ago, just right down there. But instead, we'll just do it the legit way, just so I could show you. Plus, smashing glass in this game is a lot of fun. Ugh. Oh my goodness. Now, can we do it? Are we actually strong enough to throw a wrecking ball off the ledge? Yes, we are. And we use that to end up getting this up here. Now, if we were playing this game the legit way, well, one of the legit ways, this is where, over there, we would end up kind of climbing up this scaffolding and up that one right there, and then we would end up landing right down here, right? So that's kind of, it's pretty cool. Now, these glass doors, I'm pretty sure you could smash them as well, but we're not going to do that because it'd be a little bit tedious, because we're just trying to get, that over there. Get it over there, Lem. There we go. All right. At least the physics aren't messing. Like, that's the thing, too, is this game is actually so well designed, too, where there are some instances, yes, where the physics can kind of, like, make a situation a little bit more tedious than it's meant to be. But then there's other sections where, like that bridge that we just came across, where it just is like, oh, that, you know, the bridge can't move anymore, right? So that's the pipe right there that I was mentioning earlier that we could end up climbing across in order to just skip straight to the end. So you could see, wait a minute. Nope, I didn't think so. Rip me. I don't know why I thought that was the thing that we needed to do, because we actually need to do it like this. Technically, you're supposed to climb along that edge, but why would we do that? That's no fun. Whoopsie daisy. Okay, so since it's a little tedious, you're supposed to actually get that swing over here so you can grab onto that thing, be some flying trapeze man, and end up getting yourself up to this. But we're just gonna use the cheaty method, and we're gonna get ourselves up here because we need to get to that box, and I'm lazy. And I would rather just do it this way. Whoa, jeez. Now, this is one of those parts where you gotta be very, very careful with the physics, right? Because you can end up, oh, he's being weird. Because you can end up very easily throwing this box right off the ledge, and that's no good. But because of the fact that this game kind of has like a weight system, you know, the box keeps that platform from swaying too much, you know? And the other thing, too, is if we would end up falling right down there, we would end up just respawning at this same puzzle checkpoint and all, right? And the thing that's so cool is it's actually in real time. Come to daddy. Come here. No, come here. No, come on. It's in real time. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't. You're not going anywhere, my pesky little friend. It would be in real time, so this box would actually still be on that platform if we ended up respawning, rather than tediously having you replay the entire puzzle, right? So now, we get to do one of my favorite parts, is Construction Worker Simulator, because, you know, I've done construction in real life. Who hasn't? And it makes you feel like a big man, you know? Oh, I don't know if I actually have this platform up enough, but we'll find out whether or not we do it. There you go. Use your physical strength, bruh. Okay. This might not do it. No. Oh, jeez. Okay, so we have to put it up a little bit more. I want to kind of do it in the quickest way possible, without like having to go up in circles and stuff like that. So let's see if we can get a little momentum with our stubby little legs that don't even have feet. But that's the thing too, like I'm so surprised at how like well the like physics kind of operates. Even right here, like it's like with our arms fully extended out, we can't actually use our joints to lift ourselves up, right? Which totally makes sense. And if you bend down too, you can kind of walk like a bit of a Neanderthal. Yeah! Take that, glass. I know it looked like we didn't hit it, but it was the sonic waves that ended up hitting it. Get out of the way, you. And there's some parts too that just, I don't know, there's just something about this game, you know? Something about it that I just love. So now we can be a flying trapeze man using our momentum to swing our way to the top. Because we have to beat it. Yeah! Oh, jeez, that was close. We almost didn't make it. Woo! Yay! Ugh. So now we are at the beautiful castle area, everybody. Oh my goodness. Now this spot is so cool. It's got so many different pathways. You wouldn't even believe it. And yes, we tediously have to break the lock. Get out of here, Boulder. At least we're strong enough to do it. And I remember the first time coming through here, it was so tedious because I didn't know the controls yet. Getting that lock off of the door was just insane. Now, this is where there's multiple pathways and like crazy, and I love it. So technically, we could actually take this stick, and so long as we have the pointy end down at the bottom right there at the base, we can end up climbing up the stairs while holding onto this end, and then we could actually pole vault ourselves over to this doorway, and then that actually is just going to end up getting us into the exact same spot that this is. But I want to do this way just because I personally find this part a little bit funner. I don't know what it is about this that I just find so fun, but oh, careful there. But bending the bars is just great. Now, granted, even though we don't really have the pole like in the top middle area right there, like it's showing where it's bending, the game, you know, it's very forgiving towards it, where, you know, you kind of just, it bends the middle of the bar rather than tediously having to get it straight away. Now, this is where I haven't experimented with it, but I think you can end up climbing up that mountain just because I know that you could see that little grappling thing, whatever that thing is called, but you could actually potentially climb your way down that to skip the majority of the level. I know it's possible, I just haven't done that yet. But for right now, we're just gonna be loading up this catapult, because we're gonna siege this castle. Yes. Now, again, technically, we could actually just cross that bridge, break our way into the front door, which is kind of like, it makes you kind of feel like a bit of a thief, because you kind of gotta pick, not pick the lock, but you just kind of gotta use your wits to end up reaching through the bars and kind of lifting the lock off and then getting to the next one and stuff like that. But who doesn't like doing this? Oh, there we go. Because this is just so much funner, right? We want to siege this castle. Banzai! Do it! Yeah! I hope I got the aim right. Nice trajectories. Nice on. Oh, so cool, man. The reason that I put that boulder in front too was not just for no reason. I was actually doing it because you kind of need it as a little bit of leverage to hold the catapult in place. Because otherwise, yeah, it can easily, like as we were using that bigger boulder, you can actually very easily end up kind of like moving the catapult out of the way. But now we're just gonna launch ourselves, because yeah! Oh, I love it. And there's actually an achievement. I don't have it because I don't exactly know how to get it, but it talks about using Epic Park climbing around this place like a monkey and getting yourself to the smith from the alley. Now, the reason I don't have that achievement is I have absolutely no idea what the game considers the alley. Maybe it's this area. That would make sense to me because you can climb up this window and you can get yourself up onto the walls and everything like that. But again, we're gonna be doing it all vanilla. My camera, for some weird reason, just stopped recording. Usually it does that whenever I get to half an hour. But yeah, I'm still like, oh man, I just love this game. Even pushing, like it's like, you wouldn't want to push a wheelbarrow in real life. I mean, I would because I love doing everything. But there's just something about this game that just makes it so fun. Come on, Chubby, there you go. There's just something about that. It's like video games just make everything fun. So technically we could go through that door as well and kind of end up doing things. But I want to do it. We got to do it the legit way. Well, kind of the legit way, right? Oh my goodness gracious. Yes, there we go. Okay, so the reason that we're doing this right here is because we want to get that cart in here, which means we got to move that out of the way, actually. And the thing that I love, like, that's the thing. This game takes a little while to get used to it. Like, even when we're opening those doors, your character is always kind of facing the way that you're facing. It's actually like a third-person shooter, right? So your hands kind of go where you actually click, and it's kind of like in the center of the screen. I actually wish that there was an option for crosshairs. You know, because I think that would make things a little bit easier as far as realizing where your character's grabbing, but maybe that's kind of the point. Maybe they don't really want you to do that because of the fact that it's supposed to be like a puzzle game, and maybe that's just part of the charm, you know? It's not like it becomes a problem, it's just you kind of got to get used to it, you know? Like, it takes a little while. Because, like, the whole point that I was trying to get at is while we were opening those doors right there, I was manually actually turning my character sideways. The doors weren't automatically turning our character sideways, so it's just little things like that. Technically, you could go inside the building, too. There's a couple other buildings. Assassin's Creed! Oh, this part sucks. There's a couple other buildings that you can end up going in, but there's not really anything in them, so you don't really gotta worry about it. Oh, boy. Oh, my goodness gracious. Whoa! Hit the brakes, mama. Oh, boy. Okay. Whoa, geez. At least he's a little bit of a cheater as far as his physical strength is concerned. There's a little bit of timing involved, too, which I still don't really have down pat. With him, like, getting up the ledge, because there's actually one of the most difficult parts in the game is coming up. It's actually in this castle level. At least I would argue it's one of the most difficult parts of the game. Whoa, geez. But who knows? Maybe you'll end up having more difficult in other spots. Now, here's where things get cool. You could end up smashing that lock, opening those doors, just for fun. You can also end up climbing all the way up the church right there, and then you can end up using a thing to kind of like slide your way down, and there's actually an achievement for that. I don't have it because I never bothered climbing that tower, and we're not going to end up doing that today just because, hey, whatever. Now, this is where I guess we'll end up doing the fun way, all right? Because I guess that's kind of the thing. There is the vanilla way of going through the maps, yes, but then there's the other way, which kind of gets us an achievement, and it's kind of the funner way of doing things, right? But normally we're actually supposed to push this cart up over there, and then you climb up that spot right there, which is so tedious because those sticks sticking out of the side are just so amazingly annoying. And then you end up climbing up to that spot. But we're going to end up using this to go a different way, folks. We're going to end up climbing up to the top and getting some more catapult action, which is always a good thing. Oh, geez. Oh, I'm like Tarzan. I love it. And we're in, oh my goodness gracious. Can we do it? Yes. I don't know why I asked if we could do it. Of course we could. That's not really one of the most tedious jumps. I don't know why I'm like dying on the inside for some weird reason. My body's like going, and I can't talk. Maybe it's because of all of the physical strength that I'm using to climb. Come on, little dude. He should really have like huge arms. Like really, this guy is like so powerful. So this is where one of the achievements is. Not to mention, it's just a lot of fun. You just kind of move this all the way back. I guess you could technically, like, I don't know how far you're actually supposed to move it back, but usually I end up just going up to this boulder, and then you can end up throwing some rocks just to kind of test the trajectories, right? But we're not going to do that because we're a rebel. I'm a rebel. And we're going to end up actually just launching ourselves. because screw it, who cares? Oh, we actually already have it fully locked, don't we? Do we? Maybe we, no, we don't. Oh boy. See, that's what I meant, where, yeah, I gotta end up putting a boulder up front because I thought we could get away with it, but nope, we wouldn't be able to. And yeah, it's not actually fully done. But anyway, the achievement that you would normally get at this spot is ringing that bell. But we're gonna end up ringing it ourselves, and hopefully I won't end up dying and screwing this all up, in which case I'll just have to make like some type of a cut. Can we do it? Oh yeah, I love it. Oh man, and he's like Spider-Man too. I love being able to grab onto everything. Now technically, we could actually climb down this wall and skip a couple tedious puzzles and end up getting up to that gate. And then something else that you can end up doing, which is very cheaty. Normally that gate, like that's where there is the hardest part in the game once we get up there. But if you're up on this wall, you can actually Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, you can rock climb your way around the ledge onto the next section, which is very, very, very scary to end up doing. But otherwise, I want to do this the legit way because it's cool. Hopefully we'll end up being able to do this, but I don't know. This part is actually really tricky with how he ends up grabbing this, but we're doing exactly what you would think. No! Oh, man. Doing exactly what you would think, and ay. Now, if you're down here, you can end up bringing that barrel up to this spot right here, and you can, I'll say that you can climb up onto the wall, but yeah, it's a little bit tedious to end up doing, folks. Okay, this will do it. There we go. Okay, but we gotta swing properly like Spooderman, because otherwise we are not gonna be able to... Okay, at least we ended up grabbing the ledge, thank goodness, because I totally thought we were dead meat, man. Okay, now this is where, like, this part kind of sucks. It's a little bit tedious. Now, as we're grabbing onto these poles too, your character's actually kind of holding them a very different way. So we kind of bring this down to us. I hope we ended up getting it. Come on. Come on. Get down here. I need you. Throw that aside, and this is where things get a little bit trickier, because we kind of have to use this as a little bit of a ramp up onto this other spot right here, and this is where the physics ends up. Like, that's the thing, is we can potentially end up getting through these puzzles very, very quick, but the fact that it's all physics-based means at the same time that you can end up getting very, very unlucky, right? So what we're trying to do is get this up onto there. There we go. Okay, so now we've got it up onto this thing, and we're gonna force it up even more, just because we need to. Oh boy. Ay. Well, this is where the physics thing is coming into place, because we gotta move it. Come on. I mean, at least it's light because it's made out of wood, and you can see you're supposed to kind of use this part of the rock to kind of like force it down so that it doesn't end up going out of control, right? And then, of course, we just pull on this thing. Pull on, or do we lift it up? Are we lifting it up? Yeah, okay, so we're lifting it up, not going down with it. My bad. Force it up. Come on. Come on, there you go. Use that power. Use that strength, dude. You got it. I think we already kind of, well, we could technically probably end up doing that, but we'll just make it go up a little bit more, just because it'll make things a little bit easier for us. But yeah, see, this is kind of what I meant, where it's like you get to these puzzles that are a little bit tedious. Oh boy. Oh, we were actually outweighing the, I don't know why I was gonna say chocolate, but the cardboard right there. Now, that is the wall. Like, see, you end up normally coming down to here, and you could end up climbing around the ledge. But instead, we're gonna be heading towards one of my most hated parts of this game. It's so tedious, dude. It's so, like, I really, really hope that I can get through it without making any mistakes, because, ay. Oh, boy. Okay, so first of all, get this barrel down the ledge, which it seems like we got a little bit lucky and ended up pushing it. Come on, be careful. There you go. Okay. And remember, you can jump off of that slide. You have to jump, otherwise he's not going to be able to make it. But the barrel can end up falling into the water, which is tedious and can end up messing things up. We gotta get this thing to go straight. There we go. Easy, easy. And then we gotta bring it over here, and this is where, oh boy, this part sucks so much, dude. This is just, I really hope I can do it. I really hope I can do it. Take it nice and slow as well, otherwise you'll tip the barrel over when you get on top of it, and that ain't good. This part right here. I absolutely cannot stand this part because he always does that. I don't know why. Like, the first time through this game, I had no problem with this area. I really didn't have any problem. But for some reason now, like, he just always seems to, for me, like, I don't know why, he always seems to just kind of move forward. And the part that's so tedious about it, so what I like to do is kind of just use his arms to kind of grab the walls and prevent ourselves from actually falling off, because otherwise, yeah, it can just get like, it can like be so annoying and tedious that he can fall off all the time. Because, oh man, and we're not even done yet, folks. We're not even done yet, because this is one of the hardest parts in the entire game, I would argue, right here, because of the fact that we can fall off the ledge so easily. Oh boy, I mean, I've gotten a lot better at this game, thank goodness, but it's just funny because I ended up getting through this relatively unscathed the first time through, like, without, oh man, I can't even believe that we did that. I can't even believe we did that without falling, like, seriously. Whew, I can't stand that part. And then you could end up just easily tripping on this ledge right here, and then GG, that'd be the end, right? But, oh man alive. So what we're doing now is we're just opening the gate right here. Use your right arm because it actually makes a difference. Ah, there we go. We don't need to open it this much. I just like turning things in this game. But now we get to one of the more confusing parts of the game. Just because of the amount of effort that had to go into, like, there's certain areas in this game where I had a little bit of difficulty. I'm sure lots of other people won't. This part's, like, really cool. I actually like this part a lot. I don't know why. Oh, yeah, we got it. Perfect. So what you can do as well, like, see, that's the thing that I personally don't understand, is how are you supposed to get that hook up there that you can end up sliding across? Like, I have no idea how you're supposed to end up doing that. I guess the only way that you could is you could get this thing to latch onto the ledge, climb up the cliff yourself, and then pull it up. But good luck with that. Whoa, geez. Okay, all right, here we go. So what we're gonna end up doing here is swinging, like Speedrun again, and hopefully getting across it without any problems. I'm gonna actually swing maybe a couple more times. Actually, this one should do it. Yeah, we should be good right here. Oh, geez. Now, the swinging I suck at. Like, seriously, I would be a terrible Spider-Man. Because if you get the momentum right, you can actually do it just fine. But otherwise, yeah. This barrel, I have no idea what it's for. But if you end up falling off of the ledges here, you can kind of see, like, there's that little rock in the bottom right corner right there, or just kind of down and right of our guy's butt. And you could end up getting down there and going into a cave system that will actually let you climb all the way back up to this spot. So it's kind of like, I guess, a fail-safe, or maybe you could technically get down into that cave system if you jumped from the main island to this one and then kind of climbed your way up the ledge. Yeah, oh. But I don't know. I don't know. That's okay. I didn't get it right, did I? Oh, yeah, we got it. Now, the reason that I say that that part was very tedious and kind of a bit of a question mark for me is because I swung off of the windmill the first time, and I didn't make it. I didn't even come close. So I thought, oh, what am I supposed to do? Because the first time I ended up falling down into the cliff side. And then I totally thought, like, oh, I was supposed to fall off. This is like or is this like a secret or something like that? I don't know. And of course, what we're trying to do right now is just use leverage to get ourselves up onto that log. We're kind of using it as a boost with this. This part is another one of those parts that can potentially end up being a little bit tricky just because of physics, because the wood platform that we're using right now really likes to slide around a lot, and yeah, needless to say, it can end up being a bit tricky, especially because this stupid log, you know, like there's some spots in this game that are just like a problem. you know? And it's not that I'm like complaining about it in like a bad way or anything. I'm just saying that it's like there's certain spots that I personally find like they're not really my favorite, I guess I'll say. Like even this part right here, it's a little bit tedious because we can't just simply get this log like right up to it and, you know, get up the cliff, because we have to actually have the this platform that we're using, we have to have it kind of like we have to have the log a little bit further down so that the ramp that we're actually using ends up being at the right height, because otherwise you can easily just, you know, we could do something like this and it's not, like you can see, it's not even at the right height, right? And it just ends up like there's just spots like this that can end up potentially eating up a lot of your time. And it's just like, no, like not cool, you know? So what I like to do is you move the log backwards and then we pull it back with the platform. And if you end up getting it at like a different ledge or a different edge to the board, I keep calling like the log the board and mixing them all up and stuff like that. So excuse me, but it can end up rolling back down if you don't have the anvil here. So you kind of got to use that as a foothold as well. But we ended up doing it, so that's not bad. And then this part, you can actually use these to climb up there, and then you can grab onto that and hang down into this cliff area, or cave area, I guess I should say. You could actually hang in there and swing. Hang in there, kitty. You could swing with the bucket onto a different area and a different ledge, but we're just gonna do this the other way, like just kind of the other vanilla way. But normally you could actually swing up to that ledge, climb your way around the cave section and stuff like that. But instead, we're just gonna end up going the parkour way, where, well, I guess that would have been the parkour way, but I'm just trying to make a point that this is the other way in case you don't end up doing that, because this was the first way that I ended up going through here. Our character was about to trip off of the ledge, GG. Because that's the thing too, you actually got to be careful. I guess it's realistic. You got to be careful of sharp turns, because otherwise your character can end up getting, like he can end up tripping and stuff like that. Which, yeah, gee, that's just, that's funny. So you use a boulder, it smashes that, and then we climb across it. And the boulder is actually going to go into its specific spot down there where you can't actually mess with it anymore. That's kind of what I mean by the puzzles themselves are like very, very well designed. Even this right here, which we're going to actually... Oh boy, okay. Well, I wanted to jump off of it because you can, and it's fun. But you don't technically need to. You know, you can just ride them to the bottom, and then it's fine because you can just... Woo! I messed that up bad. You can end up just, like, you can just ride it down to the bottom and you don't really need to, like, worry that much about messing it up. So this part, took me a couple tries the first time going through here because he wouldn't get in the stupid thing. No, not really. That's just him being dumb. Grab it. There you go. Lift yourself up there, Chubbo. So you do this, whee, and grab the door. And hold on to it like a cat climbing a tree. Ugh, there we go. And then, I think technically, maybe you're supposed to, like, does this deattach? I just want to see if it does. No, it doesn't. It's just there for kicks. Okay, so you can end up, now we gotta launch ourselves again, which that's always fun, right? You know, I'm not complaining. And, this is another one of those parts that could end up being very, very difficult, just because if you don't know how to climb properly by this point in the game, you're gonna have a little bit of trouble. But anyway, that's the cliffside that I was talking about, where you can probably climb it from the beginning. I don't know, I haven't experimented with it. And then you could actually rappel yourself down to the windmill very, very easily. Whee! But now we're gonna Ethan hunt it. That's kind of what I was talking about where I said about the Ethan hunting. Because we're hanging on the cliffside, right? And then you gotta get into there, which now you see what I mean when I say it could potentially end up, being very, very difficult. Oh man, now we're onto the water world. Oh, so sweet, but I gotta take a quick little break before we end up tackling this one. I like how sometimes his arm actually gets stuck behind his back, but it ended up going away, so what am I even talking about? This area is so cool, and just like I was referring to earlier, like, that's what I love about this game is the variety of the levels and of the physics-based puzzles and stuff like that. So right now, rowboat, and it operates just as you would think it would. So let me grab one end, grab the other, and let's, it's very, like, I like how it controls, I'll say that. Like, it's oddly fun and operates very, very well. So technically, there is actually an achievable if you end up taking this rowboat all the way to the end of the water section. While there are still more water puzzles, that's kind of, yeah, like, you gotta take it all the way across, and you can just see, like, how slow it is. Now, what we could end up doing as well is there's actually, I mean, I'm just kind of rushing for this just because I know it's here, and it could end up being a little bit tedious to end up getting this boat off of the shores anyways. But you do actually have a little bit of a time limit before your character ends up drowning, but you could end up getting the sailboat, and then you could take that all the way across, but I like taking this one because it's fast. Now, you can kind of see here, I just want to show you this as an example, how we're not really strong enough to end up lifting the boat or moving it or anything like that, because you're actually supposed to be using these sticks kind of as leverage to push the boat. But one thing that I found, and that's just kind of how the engine works in this game, is you can see that we can still, like, we can actually use these poles to kind of, like, they can move the boat. Like, it's kind of like, I guess the way I would explain it is, think of it in terms of a strength stat towards the physics. So the boat is actually moving right now, even though we're doing the exact same thing that we were doing 2 seconds ago, but we're doing it with the pole. So the game actually registers and counts it as we're using it for leverage, even though we're kind of just moving it with our own body. And this is kind of what I would recommend doing, because in all honesty, it's a bit tedious to get this thing out into the water anyway. Like, I just have a very hard time with it. Oh my goodness, we don't want the physics to end up doing that stuff. Let's see if we can end up grabbing this from the right angle, because we do actually need it to be a little bit further into the water here. A little bit further. Just a little bit more. There you go. Okay. Okay. Get rid of the pole. Okay. Okay. Jump into the boat. There we go. All right. Cool, cool, cool. So as we're grabbing this, it's automatically going to end up driving for us. And this is just, now we're just going out in style. And the game is also trying to teach us how to actually operate the vehicles, because later on you end up actually controlling land vehicles. Now, we could have, as you saw with that island just beside us there, we probably could have actually used this boat just because it's taller than the other ones. We probably could have actually climbed up onto that section there and then up over to maybe the lighthouse. I don't know though, folks. I can't say for certain, but at least we do get to have a nice little shortcut here, because otherwise you gotta climb around the boat. There's also an achievement for getting through this area without touching the water. Now, I don't really know what that necessarily entails, other than, I guess, just getting in the boats and yeah, being really, really lucky, we'll say. So right now we're actually controlling this freighter, and we're gonna do full speed ahead, except, oh my goodness, we gotta turn it. We gotta turn it. So it operates the same as a tank, where you end up using, each of these is kind of controlling 2 rudders at the back, right? So we're trying to get it, like, turned a little bit. And it's important to note that there's actually an achievement as well for getting this big bad boy into the port while it's facing backwards. So it's not necessarily difficult to do that, it's just tedious. You know, it can end up taking quite a bit of time to end up doing that, of course, just because this thing is so slow. But the advantage that you end up actually getting from that is, as it's in backwards, you can actually kind of like climb out of the main area right here that we're in, like the control station, let's call it. You can actually climb out of the control station and kind of void and skip past this next puzzle that we're about to end up doing, because if we end up doing this the legit way, like we are right now, we're gonna end up having to, like, we're not gonna have enough height to climb up to that building right there, right? So we're gonna kind of just ease into the port. Thank goodness this thing doesn't actually end up exploding, so we don't gotta worry about that. Grab it. Grab it. Full stop. Full stop. There we go. All right, perfect. So normally we would end up climbing out of this window onto that building, but instead, we're gonna have to do the long way, which is getting that crane thing over there to grab one of these, and then lift it over there and use it as a platform. Now, again, because it's physics-based, you can end up doing quite a bit of other things. One of the most easiest ways that you end up doing it is you just end up using that crane thing right there. You can actually just hop on top of it and climb over to the other side. But we're gonna do this just because it's cool, you know, because we get to do a freighter job person simulator, you know? But the depth of field is definitely what I would say is one of the most difficult things. Now, the thing too that's very nice about this machinery is you can kind of just let go. That looks about right? You can kind of just let go and it'll stop, whereas there's certain vehicles that we'll come across a little bit later on that actually will have kind of momentum to them, where if you end up hitting the gas, well, then there you go. So I'm just trying to get this thing to stop so that we can end up getting all of those cranes on top of the crate properly. Yeah, there we go. So it seems like it's probably not like in the most ideal spot, so let's move it just a little bit forward there. And then we can just jump down here, and it's pretty good. Like, you know, the physics are nice with this one, where it doesn't like, it's not like really overly complicated. Like you can see right there, we already just got it right there, just because, you know, you kind of just have to get like, oops, I don't want to grab that one. I want to grab this one. You can kind of just get it close enough. And then the game kind of like, as you can see, like it kind of just automatically locks it and goes into place. Now, again, that's another thing that I love about this game's design, because it means that most of the puzzles, which could normally be very, very meticulous and tedious, are actually not that much of a problem. Now, you gotta be careful that the hooks are on the right way, because you can have it where one of them is not actually working. Or not actually connected, and then, yeah, you're gonna be in for a bad time. So let's see, can we clutch this out? No. I wanted to clutch it, but we didn't. And there we go. Perfect. So there's certain spots, certain spots like that can potentially end up taking a lot of time. Like the first time through, this is actually the second time that I've actually done this part of the puzzle, because normally, like the other times that I went through it, I was kind of like driving the freighter backwards and experimenting with other things, right? But I wish that there was a better way. Like the one thing that I would say is you definitely need a proper camera angle for some of this stuff, because otherwise it gets a little bit tricky to end up doing. Is that even high enough? No, let's go a little bit higher. There we go. I just don't want it to end up hitting the other cargo, right? But yeah, this is another one of those spots that could potentially end up eating up a lot of your time, just because you gotta line it up properly and everything, right? Now, the other thing too is we can start moving this forward, but it takes a lot of time because of stupid swinging. Stop it, you dumb machine. There you go. Okay, perfect. So now we lower it a little bit and make sure that it's not too low, but also not too high, because you gotta be able to grab onto it before you can end up actually climbing, getting up there, right? Because otherwise, if you have it too low, then you're not gonna be able to climb onto this point. But if you have it too high, then you're not gonna be able to reach it in the first place. Come on, dude, get your arms on there. There you go. So this part is actually a puzzle that you've seen in multiple other games, which is pretty cool. I like it. Where we have to ride the rapids. Ah! Oh yeah! And then the next part, you can get through it very, very quickly. I'm going to see if I can actually do that. I don't know if I will, but there's a couple smaller boxes. And the reason why I'm saying like whether or not I'll actually be able to do it, I don't know, is because with them being smaller boxes, like this one kind of just stays level. These smaller ones, they kind of flip around, because what they want you to do is they want you to kind of like do what we're doing right now and get all of the boxes into the water so that we would kind of use all of them at once as a bridge across. But we're not going to do that. We're gonna see whether or not we can end up doing this the lazy way or the cheaty fast way, which is just jumping onto the box. Oh, great. Well, it disappeared because sometimes that ends up happening. So I guess we won't end up doing that. Oh, well. Oh, great. It disappeared forever. We gotta be very careful about that then, because otherwise potentially we could mess things up. Oh boy. But yeah, I mean, potentially, like, if it did end up messing up, we could always just load up the checkpoint and there you go, no problem. But you can see, just because these boxes are kind of lighter and stuff, like, you gotta be very careful with them. The first time through, I didn't even know that we could go into this gate area, and I ended up just surfing across the box, and one of them ended up deleting, just like we experienced right there. So you gotta watch out for that. Now, this is where things can also be a bit tedious because they could all potentially end up flipping out on us. Oh boy, oh boy. You can also easily, like, just kind of Ethan Hunt your way across that section, no problem. And even this section too, like, there's a lot of areas where you can end up just kind of climbing your way across instead of doing it the legit way. But we're gonna be doing it the legit way because, I mean, come on, this is so cool. Now, this is another spot that could potentially give players a lot of trouble because of what just happened right there. That's one of the reasons it could be a lot of trouble. I've actually never had that happen. That was just stupid. But the reason that I was saying it could be trouble, rip me, is because we actually have to get that one hooked on to our boat so that we don't end up continuing downstream and kind of wrecking everything. Now, the only reason that I ended up actually falling was because for some weird reason it didn't end up getting pulled down properly. Like, jeez Louise. But generally speaking, like, it's not like it's difficult to do any of this stuff. It's just, it could go wrong. I know I keep saying that, but the fact that it's a physics-based game technically means that everything could end up going badly. Now, this section, I totally overestimated because I thought, first time through, I thought, oh man, I gotta rush it and I gotta get this box onto the ship right here within a time. I don't mean to get so frustrated at it, folks, but there's just something about, oh, this is gonna suck. There's something about it. Oh, geez. Like, when things go wrong like that, it's just like, oh, come on, you know? But yeah, so the first time through, I totally thought that we had to, like, rush and get this box onto the boat, like, as fast as possible. And even this section, I was kind of rushing because I thought, oh man, we gotta get it across really, really quickly because, oh no, it's gonna end up going downstream. But nope, that's the thing, is the game kind of, the boat automatically stops at that section and then it kind of stops here. Now, potentially the boat could probably end up going through this section and then end up messing things up, but hey, whatever. Normally the game actually has a lot more, I guess, checkpoints, I'll say. So that was actually a little bit confusing. Now this part, this part is, yeah, I don't even get this part. Normally, I guess what you're supposed to do is bring the paddle into the boat and just kind of one paddle it, but we're not gonna do that because GG, I wouldn't even know what to do. So instead, we're just gonna climb into the boat here and kind of use our leverage to kind of like push us through to the next section here. And slowly just sail across, which again, you could end up just kind of climbing around the whole section. Oh boy, can we get it? Can we get it? There you go. Climbing around the whole section, and technically speaking, you can actually get through the water and get to that spot right there before you end up drowning. And I forget if I mentioned, but there is actually an achievement for coming out of the water just before you end up getting killed. I ended up accidentally getting it. I don't know what the actual timing is, but it actually says like within, I think it's 100 milliseconds of like actually drowning or something like that. I don't know. And then the other thing too, which I'm going to show you this, we're not going to end up doing it, but I am going to show you. Oh boy, this part kind of sucks. Ay. Because if we fall GG, we got to play that whole part again. Yay! You can use this pole to get that boulder down here. Then you can climb up the ledge and go all the way over there and climb all the way to the top of the lighthouse, turn it on, there's another achievement for you. But we're going to be doing this the legit way, again. The other thing, too, that you can end up doing is you can climb up that cliff, go over there, and then that kind of voids the puzzle that we're about to end up doing, which kind of is, this one really reminds me of Half-Life, because Half-Life had lots of puzzles like this, or well, at least it had kind of like one or two of them, right? Where it's not getting through. Oh no, so let's use physics to kind of force it down. Yeah, force it down so that it can end up getting through to the other section. Now, I think, yeah, okay, all right. No, you gotta be very careful. No, you gotta be very careful because we can end up getting stuck down there. I don't know if it can end up getting stuck if you didn't have the right amount of the blocks and stuff. I wouldn't think so, but don't worry about it. I guess that's where you would kind of, like, see, that's why I mean that achievement of not getting wet. I don't know if that's a thing. Like, would we end up getting, like, would this count? Getting our little feeties all, you know, in the water like that? I don't know. Can we do it? Do we have enough height? Nope. There we go. So thankfully, again, it ends up stopping, and then we gotta do this Tarzan style. Oh, jeez. And then this part gave me a little bit of trouble the first time through, because I didn't realize that there is actually momentum. Oh, jeez. There's actually momentum to this thing. That's why our character actually isn't strong enough to get up. There we go. Momentum, like, the lever stays on. I'll say that, okay? Because, yeah, otherwise for the longest time I was like, what do I gotta do? Do I gotta get that chain off so that it can end up holding on? Oh, boy. So that it can end up holding on to the lever to end up pushing us up, but nope, GG. And then this part ended up taking a very long time for me to understand because I just didn't get it, but the game was actually trying to tell us with that other chain that's hooked onto it, it was trying to tell us, hook this one on, Buster, and then you send it backwards down, grab the lever, there we go, send it backwards down, and then we release the river, which is very, very cool. I love it. And then we've got another achievement. This one's actually a little bit tricky. Let's see if we can end up doing this right now, because yeah, it's a little bit tedious, but it wants you to kind of ride this thing all the way down the rapids without falling off, which can be a little bit of a problem, especially because, you know, your character kind of, because it's a cushion, as far as the physics are concerned, it counts as a cushion. So your character kind of bounces like crazy. That's why I'm holding on to it as much as I can. Not to mention the most tedious part of all, is just getting the momentum for you to actually get down the cliff in the first place. And then in most cases, we'll actually end up having, like all of the dam that we ended up just destroying kind of ends up blocking the way. And you can see with the paddle wheel up there, that was pretty much the whole goal of the level, was getting this water to actually activate. Oh, thank goodness, we actually got lucky enough that all those chunks of wood weren't blocking us here like they usually have been every other time I've gone down this level. Come on. Come on, there we go. Yeah, here we go. Oh, oh my goodness gracious. Yes. So we would have gotten our achievable right there. And it's, oh boy. Well, whatever. We'll just do this because who cares? That's where you could have ended up getting wet, right? You would have had to do it without touching that. Oh. Can you grab it? There we go. So we were trying to get this paddle wheel going the entire time. And this is another section, again, I know I've said that before, but this is another one of those spots that could potentially end up being very, very difficult, especially if you don't understand the physics and what you're supposed to do. So what I like to do is just kind of hold on to the ledge. It sucks too, because I've actually gone through this section like 2 or 3 times without actually like having any problems. And I'm guessing that we could end up climbing our way down this thing and end up, I guess, like, I guess that would be the way that you would avoid the water or something like that. I don't know. Now, there's actually 2 achievements when you come to this point. One of them is just, both of them involve beating this level. Eee! And one of them is by going through feet first. And then the other one, you have to kind of turn your guy into a ragdoll and go head first. So yeah, GG on that one. Now this is where things get interesting, because now we're starting to deal with all the electronics and stuff like that. And this is actually the, I think this is actually the last level in the game. So GG, we beat it. Kind of. We're very close to beating it anyways. And the fan automatically turns off, and there's actually quite a few different achievements by completing this area. Come on, you stupid wire, geez. One of them is mixing up the power, so you can end up having blue, like we would end up using this same wire and just putting it into the red cord, and then it kind of explodes, and that's one of the achievements. I should have actually, no, I should have actually ended up grabbing both of the wires so that we didn't need to go and grab it all over again. Now, again, there's so many different ways that you can actually get through this level, and a lot of cheaty ways that let you get through the level very, very fast, you know? Including, I think you could get up to that fan section up there, but I don't think that you could end up squeezing through. I don't know, maybe you could, but whatever, we're gonna do it proper so I can kind of show you all the real way of actually doing all these puzzles, because that's kind of the point, you know, it's actually like a walkthrough. There you go. In some sections you can actually take the wire through, but if we end up depowering the door, it's gonna depower and actually turn off. But they're also introducing us into mobile power. So that's what's going on right here, where we end up using this box and bringing it over because these wires are not actually long enough. Nope. Of course you would end up doing that. There you go. Jeez. Oh boy. It can end up being like so frustrating sometimes, you know. Now, this is where, oh. Okay. That fan, in one instance for me, ended up being broken and actually like falling out. So maybe we could have used the pole in that last room to kind of force it so that it breaks. But otherwise, I'm pretty sure this is what you're supposed to do, is just kind of use this. But the gate ends up staying open, so it's not really like it's that much of a problem. And this is where you could end up being cheaty, because you could climb up that wall, which, not that we necessarily need to, because we can end up just going here. You could end up climbing across that wall and getting over to that section. And then this is where one of the most time-consuming and I guess tedious like achievements is actually tied. We have power to getting that box off of that guy's hand. And oh my goodness gracious, even when you know how to climb, it takes a long time. Like seriously, because you kind of gotta just swing yourself back and forth, and it just, oh man alive, it can be very, very tedious. But right now, this part can end up being very, very tricky as well, because if you don't get the box over to the right section, it can end up falling off the cliff, and then GG. What we're trying to do as well is we're going to be activating all of that stuff over there so that we can get this box over to the next section. But otherwise, very, very soon, we're going to be running into a spot that has to do with kind of another land vehicle. Or I guess, would that be our first land vehicle? I don't even remember. Now, this part is a little bit confusing to me. Because there's actually that machine right there, and it's got some voltage in it. I don't know. I'm just gonna try this right now, because I've only ever gone through this section once, and it confused me. Because we've got that thing over there, which is very tedious to get over here, or we've got this box. Now, I don't know whether or not we're like, does this box like default not having power? Because then that would make sense to me. Because otherwise, come on. There we go. Because otherwise, I really have no idea what that box that's got the wheels is actually for, you know? Outside of, like, the only thing that I can figure is that, yeah, I don't get it. I really don't understand what that's for. Yeah, I see. Okay, perfect. So there we go. GG. GG. So that means that it doesn't actually, the box that we're using right now doesn't actually have enough power. Get out of him. Get at him. Doesn't actually have enough power until we end up charging on this bad boy. Because the first time through, like I said, I didn't know, like, I had no idea, like, what was the point? Like, I just kind of happened to try using this on the box to see what would happen, and I didn't realize that, yeah, it ended up actually charging it, because we actually don't have enough. Get out of the way, you stupid wires. You actually don't end up having enough room or length on these wires to bring, like, these wires over from this box over to the other one. So we kind of, like, are forced to do what we're just doing right now. There we go. I think anyways, right? I really hope so. I really hope that's what we're supposed to end up doing. Yeah, okay, good. So there you go. That's what that thing was actually for. And then I'm pretty sure this is one of those doors, yeah, it ends up staying open for quite some time. And this is where batteries come into play. They're trying to kind of teach us about, like, this giant battery that's in front of us, because we end up using a vehicle in the next section to kind of bring this over into the next area, and then end up using it to end up powering the next door, yada, 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 right? So I'm just gonna do this right now. You already know what we're doing. There we go, all hooked up, and now I would recommend grabbing this thing with both hands, because otherwise it can be a bit tricky. You kind of gotta do it a couple times. And honestly speaking, you gotta do it 2 times, and even then it's like, oh man, it can be like so tedious. So this is where we get this beautiful vehicle, and then we bring it over into that section to grab that bad boy, hook it up to that thing, and then this door actually, like, that battery only stays on for a limited time, and when it wears out, that door ends up closing. But yeah, anyway, I gotta take a quick little break, or before, well, you know what, I was gonna take a little break, just because my camera's overheating, as it does sometimes. But instead, I'm just gonna kind of show you all the vehicle controls right here, because this one actually is kind of trying to be easy on the player, where you have to control the gas, like, separately, but otherwise there's another vehicle we'll come across later that you end up adjusting the speed for, and it just kind of stays on the entire time. So you can kind of see and get the idea. Like, I'm just gonna kind of line myself up and get onto this stupid thing so that I can actually, like, pick it up. Jeez Louise. It's a lot of fun, but mostly, like, that's the thing, it's a lot of fun, especially off camera, but otherwise doing it on camera can end up being a little bit tedious. So actually right now, folks, I'm gonna give my camera a little bit of a break, and I'm just gonna line this up and get the wires and stuff like that all hooked up nice and easy over there for all of you. All right, we're all set up, folks. I kind of considered, like, actually setting it up in a nicer manner so that you could actually understand, like, the direction that it is and everything like that, but honestly, who cares? Is that thing actually going now? Yeah, it is. Okay, good. No, grab the switch. There you go. There you go. So this is the section that I was saying, like, you gotta grab it and you gotta get through it fast enough. I didn't know that it was actually that bad, though. I totally thought that it was gonna stay on a little bit longer than that. Like, oh, okay. So it just, all right. I understand. It doesn't even need to be explained. So right now, we're trying to, like I said earlier, like, now we can actually finally grab this thing, but you're gonna notice, oh no, it ends up going back down. This is where we could cheat, could climb up there. It would take me 50 years, but you could end up climbing up there and grabbing the power plant, and then you can kind of just skip this whole section that we're doing right now. But otherwise, this is what I do. I don't know if this is what you're supposed to do, but it's what I do for it. Is I just end up using this wire kind of as leverage to hold this, hold it. Oh, geez, he's tripping all over the place. But I just use it to... Physics, man. Of course, everything could go wrong. And of course, everything that never went wrong for me before is gonna go wrong for me now while recording, but at least that was a quick fix. Okay, that thing's seriously gotta shut up. There's also another section that we're about to come to that, again, it would be another one of the more sticky situations, because most of this game is actually very, very easy and very quick as well. The thing that's cool too is how this game actually offers like the ability for speed running, which is really nice as well. And actually, I guess I should have mentioned at the beginning of the entire series, but if you're still watching up to this point, there's actually an achievement called Speedrunner for beating the game in one sitting, and I ended up just accidentally getting that just while I was playing. Now, while I was just playing through this game the first time, because I just couldn't put it down. Now, this is where things end up getting like, we gotta slowly, carefully. Okay, yeah. So we gotta do this. We're on a time limit right now. Oh, that was so close. What you can do is you can get the box over onto the platform, and then stupid physics. You can get the box onto the platform without it moving, so it doesn't have to be so tense. But otherwise, yeah, this is one of the most tedious parts in the game, because it's supposed to actually just drop the box and then it just stops on the other side. But it's just out of reach that sometimes it can end up messing up like it just did. Of course, you could always just try to stop it and then climb up and across and actually, like, climb up there yourself and try to... No, you can't actually climb up there. You'd have to, like, meticulously climb around that platform and stuff like that. Or you can end up getting lucky and grabbing it like we just did. But the first time through, I actually did grab it like that, and it took me with it. So, yeah. This part's kind of fun, though. I like this part, I gotta say. So, we gotta get those wires down here. The way that we end up doing that is by using these beautiful conveyor belts. Again, because they really like using, like, you know, this is definitely a very good last area. So that box is always going to end up falling. Oh, geez. It's always going to end up falling. Let's see if we can actually get lucky here, by the way, and grab both of them. Oh, just the red one. Oh, well. But you can end up like that box is just going to keep on falling, because it's up to us to actually travel down there and grab it ourselves and kind of like carry it across. Could end up being a very confusing spot. I don't know why I was going to say smelly, but could end up being a very confusing spot for a lot of players. I could totally see, because what we have to end up doing is actually, this is the only part in the game where you end up doing something like this. Yeah. I don't even know how I figured it out the first time, because in all honesty, spots like that usually end up stumping me and getting me really confused. But we did it, so no problem. And then we're about to also get to one of the more, I would say, tricky parts. I know I keep using these different, like, words for these different sections, but I would really say that if there's one area that is definitely the trickiest, maybe I said that in different sections, but this one is kind of like that. Like, it's a very specific type of tricky, because we end up getting a vehicle that we could either drive very, very slowly up a hill. Okay. So what we're trying to do is this. There you go. Now you see why I say that we could just void the whole situation by going up on top of that guy and grabbing his box and just kind of skipping to the end. So it's a reward that's definitely ends up actually being worthwhile. But this is a very cool spot coming up ahead that... It's like, whoa, geez Louise, you freak. It can end up being like so tough, because with the speed that your vehicle can go, it reminds me of Sonic, because, you know, gotta go fast. But you can end up falling off the cliff, and then you gotta end up doing the whole section all over again. Yeah, there's multiple ways through this later area right here. Just the same as anywhere else, and took me a couple tries. Like, I didn't even know that you could do this the first time, so it's kind of trying to show us with this one right here, like, oh, there's a bunch of coal on the ground, this one's heating up, while these ones are all cold, right? Cold. You can't bring the coal from this one into the next machine. It's just gonna instantly cool down. So it confused me. I didn't understand. What are we supposed to do, you know? And then what I ended up doing, and I will show you all this kind of as we're coming back down the hill with the vehicle, is over there. You see that big giant, the giant chimney right over there? There's actually a fan inside it that you can end up using, but it's random because when you go into the fan, the physics kind of takes over and you don't actually control where you land. But where we're trying to get for the exit is the third tower right there. So you can, took me like 50 tries, you can end up taking that fan and actually landing in the end. So potentially a speed run. You could be crazy for a speed runner, right? But we're actually trying to activate, like we're going to do it the tedious way, and we're going to activate these suckers, which are going to make these fans end up going off in these towers that we can end up using to get to the end. And I didn't know, first time I came through here, I thought, hey, what's this? There's just, you know, it's just a light source. I totally thought that's all that this was. Rip me, because you actually use this as a match. You use it to light up the other coal that's going on down here, right? So what we're gonna end up doing right here is, because there is enough coal to end up starting the second one and getting it to full power, but there's not enough for the third one, right? So I'm gonna kind of just, we're gonna kind of just cheat and meticulously like do this and drag this one over and get it over to the other section, right? So that we can just focus on the last one. The last one will end up taking a little less time just once we end up getting up the hill and everything like that, because what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna drive our way up the hill. Can we light this up? There we go, perfect. We're gonna drive our way up the hill with this bad boy, and this is the part that I was talking about where it can be, oh man alive, like good luck is all I'll say, because the momentum of this one stays, meaning that you can actually drive it kind of in real time. I'll say, yeah, sure. You turn it on once, it's going at a snail's pace. You push it again, which is what we're gonna do to save time, and now we're going at the fastest speed possible, which you could see could end up being, like you could end up driving off the ledge like very, very easily. So what I like to do is you gotta be very, very careful on the corners, because otherwise they're gonna be what ends up messing you up. Also, don't forget to turn your camera. Remember that you have to kind of like physically turn your camera and actually control the character yourself in order to actually get like the full momentum. So, oh boy, did we mess this up? Did I mess it up? Can we do it? Oh yeah, okay. Goody goody gumdrops. Whew! So now, slow her down. Slow her down. Go with the snail's pace now. Okay, screw the snail's pace. Let's just go in here nice and quick. Oh boy. Oh man, I messed it up. So thankfully you can reverse, you know, if you ever end up getting into too much trouble. No! No! Stop! Oh, jeez. Yeah, because that's the thing, is if you have the vehicle activated in any way, shape, or form, you're gonna end up going to the super speed. Like, it's just gonna do that instantly. So now, and there's another achievement for this, I do gotta say, we could end up getting 10 coal into the truck and then hauling that all the way down, and then you're gonna end up gaining our achievement. Oh, I didn't even notice there was another torch here. So the game was really trying to show us how to do it. It should have actually ended up just having that torch activating this coal. I think that would have been a little bit better, just to kind of instruct the player, because for myself personally, yeah, I got confused. Now, I don't know how much of this you actually need, so we're just gonna grab a whole bunch of it. Like, yeah, take that, I don't care. We're gonna grab as much of this as we can and then end up driving down the hill. So I'm just gonna do that right now, folks. Of course, grabbing 2 at a time is definitely gonna end up saving time. And I guess if we ended up getting rid of the first torch, we could have just grabbed this other second one. But at the same time, everything kind of reappears anyways, and we could ride it. But instead, we're gonna do it this way. I really, really hope that's enough. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to make like a serious cut and just actually tediously come up here myself. We could end up just using that truck too if you ended up walking all the way up over here. But yeah, it's not something I would recommend because of the amount of travel time. Can you grab it, buddy? There you go. Because the amount of travel time is just insane. Turn! Turn! No! No, you stupid truck! No! Of course it would end up messing up during recording. That sucks, man. Because now, the truck ended up reappearing all the way back down at the bottom, but did it keep its coal? I don't know. I wouldn't think so. That sucks. Because now I gotta get this dum-dum in the right place. But at least we could end up driving down this road. There is another road if you end up going around the cliffside. But either way, oh man, that's terrible. All right, everybody, I've got the second truck all loaded up. And of course, I have to do this on camera because it's the moment of truth. We're gonna go at slow speed the entire time. Just kidding. No, we're not. Get your hands on the wheel. Get your hands on the wheel. Oh my goodness. We might already get Shrek'd on this part. Nope, we're good, we're good, we're good. Make sure that you take those nice wide turns. This part might end up screwing me over. Yep, it's definitely going to. No, you don't. Not again. Grab it. Oh, boy. Oh, my goodness gracious. It's a good thing that I don't drive a truck in real life because otherwise it would probably be like this. Not really, but oh, man, do we even have, like, I really hope that that ledge isn't behind us. Like, we're just gonna slowly back off the ledge, aren't we? Okay. Now, unfortunately, this is kind of stupid. We're gonna have to take it very, very slow right now. Because I don't think that we have it. Like, yeah, we're just gonna hit this other pole now. Stop, you idiot! Jeez Louise, like, that's the thing, it's so frustrating too, because first time through, no problem. Second time through, no problem. Of course, when I'm recording it, big problem. Very, very tedious, very, very time consuming, just wasting all, like, oh my goodness gracious. And now it's backing up even slower. Screw it, I'm just gonna drive super speed, I don't care. It's actually rolling down the hill because of the physics too. That's why it was actually having such a hard time backpedaling back up. Now, the other thing, delivery boy achievement, okay. I thought I did that the first time. Maybe it was talking about, maybe the achievement is tied to this truck specifically because I already did that once before. Like, I already drove up and down the hill with so much coal, more coal than I know how to deal with. What am I doing? I'm doing this like a Neanderthal when we're actually supposed to just do this. Our truck, our other truck right there, that's actually, that could potentially be really, really bad. So it seems like that truck, like you can hear it beeping. So it respawned in reverse at the same speed that we ended up having it. So does that mean that it could end up going, like, what if we had it on forward? Would it end up respawning and then just driving straight off of the cliff or something? You know, like that could be bad. I don't know if it would actually do that. I just kind of, oh man, don't grab the ground, grab the coal. Oh, geez. So that was probably the most time-consuming spot in this entire game for me. Like, seriously, I can't even believe that. Because normally, like, no problem, but I knew because that's how it goes for a Let's Player. I knew as soon as I was recording it, it was gonna be trouble. So I'm just gonna load up these last two coals right here, and we'll see if that's enough to get the fans going so that we can end up getting out of here. Yeah, careful, careful. Is that enough? It didn't make any noise, but that's it. Like, we won. Okay, whatever, that's weird. So anyway, now that we've got all the pressure going, now we actually use these fans, and they kind of, just specifically push you up to the top here so that you can end up grabbing and getting up top, which you gotta be very, very careful, because otherwise he can very easily fall off the ledge like he really, really wants to do right now. Gotta be very careful about that. Okay, okay. And then, now he almost always almost always ends up messing that up. So you gotta know how to swing. You gotta know how to swing at this point, because otherwise I really don't even know what you're supposed to actually do to get up into this other section. Oh boy. Oh boy. Hey! There we go. Perfect. Okay. And then we're supposed to walk along this ledge. Okay. Perfect. But then, of course, like right at the end, of course, like two. Are you kidding me? He ends up messing up on that spot. Jeez Louise. So that is the one where you could end up using that other fan and the other chimney and kind of just voiding all of that. But good luck, because it's just random chance. Now, anyways, once you end up completing the game, then you unlock the ability to actually like customize your character. I think you do anyway. Maybe it was always there, but I know that some extras do show up either way. But thanks so much for watching, everybody. Don't know why the music's not playing and being all deep like it's supposed to. You can kind of turn the camera around and stuff like that. We could actually grab onto the letters and kind of float down with them to make it end up taking a lot longer. But otherwise, that's the credits and stuff like that. Links are in the description for everything. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Very much appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, you know, because this game is just great, seriously, and especially for the price. Like, I'm going to be replaying this a couple more times for sure, just kind of messing around, maybe getting all the achievements, but I don't really know. I just like messing around. Thanks for watching, everybody. Sign away and stay epic.